That's what we do in America. We make up excuses to get drunk.
And what can you do? Welcome to America. We have some good things, some bad things.
Mostly bad at this point.
I'm
Let,
only
let,
here so I won't get fined.
let's be real. I'll say it, Purvis. Oh my god. So, yeah, we're recording now.
Oh, lovely. I didn't even know we started.
Yeah, I
It,
know. I
I
like
feel
to
like
just
this is
like
going to be.
I like just I until we figure out a outro or intro, whichever one
Yep.
comes first. I'm just gonna scare you. So that's
I
motivation.
I literally was about to say I feel like every episode that starts until we get something established is just going to be like the middle of us having a conversation. It's just like, oh, welcome.
It's just gonna be like, and then it starts, and then it ends, and we have a Google Doc to look at sometimes.
Well, to be fair, we kind of explained the first conversation or the first podcast. Most of our conversations is just what we're talking about anyway. So
Yeah, like
just
it's
bringing in
very
humor to what's more natural.
yeah, definitely. Like it's just this is just what we do. The only difference is that we are recording and distributing this on the internet, which might be a mistake. Who knows?
I think when I'm president, I'll probably get
Uh,
canceled by episode 3.
we're gonna be canceled. What? This is the preseason. Don't get canceled. Like, so how was your week?
So far so good. What have I been doing this week? It's been a decent week. I went to a Bulls game. Shout out to the boy Ralphie, hit me up.
Ooh,
Um,
Chicago
it's,
Bulls.
it's hard to be on. It was big hype. I'm not gonna lie. It was really hype. It was
It
some dope seats.
was a dope game.
Probably some of the better seats I've had. Like I said, big shout out to my boy Ralphie. I know Ralphie for a minute now. Probably going on 5 years almost
He's another guy from the Blue Shirt Gang.
in the Blue Shirt game.
Yeah.
No, but it was big hype. It was a lot of fun. The Bulls game was hype. I went to a VR lounge. That's a little something new.
What?
Um,
Did you
I
get
went to
lost
a
in the
VR lounge.
metaverse?
Yeah, it was actually kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie. There's this game like called Super Hot, and
Oh shit! I've played Super Hot. That game
dude,
is fire.
dude, it is amazing. So I don't know if you played in VR, but it is a very different experience.
Where's the VR lounge?
It's somewhere up in the Rosemont. It had Axe throwing with it. So if you live in Chicago, you have a free weekend. Want to take someone out on a date or something? Nice little vibe. It's low key. Not a lot of people.
That
Um,
that's good. I
I
like
recommend
going. I like going to where there's as few people as possible, which is why I watch Bulls games in my living room.
it. Well, I should say, what have you been up to then?
Oh, just dealing with a nightmare at work. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to be sued by massive corporations.
Yeah,
Uh,
they'll do it.
but this week we have our big town hall like holiday party. It's like one of the biggest parties in the city every year,
Okay.
and I'm probably gonna die.
Wait. Is this the one you went to last year with like? He was like, "This is the first time I like blacked out at work or something."
Oh no, there was one I went to in the summer. We do one in the summer too, but I didn't black
Big
out.
hypes. Big
Like
hypes.
I was the least drunk.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
remember everyone was pretty messed up.
everyone was very drunk. Yeah, that's probably the one you're thinking of. Yeah,
Good times. Good
yeah,
times.
good times. So I gotta do 5 days worth of work in three, so I can go to town hall.
Boy,
Yeah,
about that. I'm sorry.
just a day in the life. Just a day in the life.
Some city boys working in offices.
Oh my god! Don't make this weird.
That
So
she just jumped to the podcast. No one
let's
actually
just
cares
jump.
about life here. Let's be honest here.
I mean, I would hope eventually they would come to care. I hope eventually they're like, I wonder what is going on with Brandon's life. I hope like he's like happy and fulfilled and not dying. Like,
Yeah,
like
that was a good luck there.
I would hope eventually, especially now because our only audience is like our close personal friends. So
I was
like,
literally gonna ask, like, as this is the preseason,
yeah,
who have you shared it with so far?
I sent it to Jeff.
That's about it.
Yeah, what about you?
So far, I sent it to the boy Eddie. Obviously, I don't think he listened, low key. So actually, we don't like Eddie right now. We're just gonna say that. Maybe like 2 or 3 other friends, and then my brother, who said he enjoyed it. So shout out to him.
Wow, Isaac is our target demographic. So yeah, he is
Literally.
literally who we're reaching out to. I was actually gonna text you like you should send it to Isaac. Like
No, yeah, it's big vibes. He literally He said really good length and time. So aiming for that hour and a half is probably that sweet spot. Besides that, pretty good quality. We cut out once or twice, but working
Yeah,
on it.
we're working on it. And once again, listeners, thank you for putting up with the very dicey audio editing and recording that is going on right now. But you know what? We're learning.
That
We
that
believe.
definitely did not accidentally not get saved more than once.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We definitely didn't need to do this multiple times. At the risk of this turning into a podcast about podcasts, do you want to talk about music? Like,
Yes, we should definitely jump into music. Let's start off with the news as always.
yeah, let's start off with the new. Guess what,
Well,
Purvis?
that's what
I listened to one of these albums that came out this week.
I'm very proud of you.
Yeah,
What
I
did you
actually
listen
did.
to?
So I listened to Ethereal by Snot, which just gonna say this. Gross name, dude. Consider a change. Just saying.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
Project, it definitely had some highlights. I really like that Doja song. Really a big fan of that Doja song.
It's a great
Uh,
song. We
yeah,
talked about it last week.
and a lot of the vibes were right. It definitely something I feel like I could put on and just like relax to. Like if I wanted to like read a book or play a video game,
Yeah.
I could definitely just use this as like auditory
Some background
like
noise.
wallpaper. Yeah, but
Yeah.
not the deepest thing in the world. At least first go around. I don't know if I'll give it another try, but I did enjoy it. Definitely someone I think Snot could make good music I will actually engage with on a deep level. That's what I
Eventually
mean.
deep. Yeah.
That's what I mean. We're gonna edit out a whole bunch of like that stuttering. Yeah,
All I could really add to it, to be honest, like I have not listened to the album. I'm sure you're not surprised because that is my trait. I am a huge music nerd, and I will promote it till it comes out and I listen to it. With that being said, I have not listened to the album, but I have high promise for it. From what
yeah,
I've heard and seen so far, it's a pretty good guy.
yeah,
One of the new guys coming up, so
yeah. It's
I'm
very very cloud rappy, very vibey. You know, definitely a
sometimes
student
you
of
just
ASAP
need
Rocky.
yeah. Sometimes you just need to get on the train and act like you're robbing it.
Yeah,
It's great music to do.
yeah, exactly. And then we had Snoop Dogg dropped an album.
Yes,
One of the OGs, and we're definitely gonna be talking about him a little
yes, we are.
a little bit longer, and definitely in a good light. So last week we talked about how he bought Death Row.
Yes, he did buy Death Row.
Legendary,
That's a
uh,
pretty big deal in my opinion.
huge deal,
People may
huge
not
deal,
realize that, but I feel like that's one of those legendary labels that is a hallmark for rap and
and for a reason.
having 100%. Amazing names have came out of that, including Snoop Dogg himself. So the fact that he's going back to his roots, going back to build it back up, because to be honest, I haven't heard much coming out of Death Row.
Yeah,
Um, it's promising. It's exciting, and we're going to be talking about labels this entire podcast. And I feel like this could be a shift. We
yeah,
might see a new label coming up with some promising names.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, part of me even wonders like, who could Death Row poach from other labels?
Yeah,
Who's a
that's
pre
also true.
like because I would love to see like a rejuvenated Death Row putting out relevant music.
I mean, that's the albums though.
But
So
yeah, those are
we'll
the two
work our
albums
way
that came
down.
out. We didn't listen to the Snoop Dogg one because we see it
We did
more as like a thing that happens, and
not.
I wonder if I would actually enjoy that album. But I'll probably listen to it
I will
later this
definitely
week.
make my way. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
make my way around it.
yeah, just
There's
as
no
like a
doubt.
sign of penance, like as respect to the people who came
Respect to the
before.
legends. 100%. Man, we really need to speed up and get to the Super Bowl because everything that we're talking about is leading up to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's almost as if there's a narrative arc in order to keep listeners engaged.
There's no shot we actually play this, right? We don't
No,
have
we
the
did not do
perfect
this. This
time.
was complete accident. Uh,
Yeah, I guess it
so
does make sense. We're smart.
I don't think there were any like new big videos, so I think we can just jump
I
right.
couldn't find anything.
Yeah, but we could jump right to singles, and let's start with the
Some big singles.
Let's start with like the biggest one, I think, and that would be 504 Kanye and Alicia Keys with "City of Gods."
Woo! Yeah, that was a banger.
That
That was a
was
banger.
a really good song.
And
Yeah,
so for
incredibly
me,
good.
I didn't know it was coming out. I honestly I didn't see any promotion for it. To me, it smacked me in the face. And that's one of the people I've kind of been trying to keep my eye out on. One of the new people I've been talking about this, kind of hovering over it. But I can't wait for this next generation coming out. I think they're amazing. It's a new
Yeah.
sound, and he's going to play a big part of it. And he drops some fire verses.
Yeah, no, his verse on this is incredible. And after 504 and like delivered that incredible verse on Off the Grid, definitely
The
the
better
best
features of the year, in my
the
opinion.
the best feature of last year, almost
Yeah,
certainly. Like and the best on that album, without a doubt.
yeah, yeah.
I'm glad to see Kanye returned it in kind. Because I think
Get
his
back,
verse on this is actually quite strong.
which is
Which is
surprising.
weird, you know? Like
Yeah.
for several years, I thought Kanye's just lyricism was like kind of falling off, even though the music as a whole was still remaining quite good.
Hmm.
But with Donda, I thought the lyrics, not exactly an original thought, but I thought his lyricism was definitely coming back on Donda. And after seeing this, I'm like, oh, maybe he wants to write a little bit better nowadays.
Yeah. He's got a purpose behind him, something driving him.
Yeah. Oh, Kanye.
But we're not gonna do this again. I low key, I was on the way home. I was laughing. I was like, we're gonna end up having a whole segment, a whole dedicated segment to like check in with Kanye. That's what the
Yeah.
segment's gonna be called.
Yeah, eventually we're
What
gonna
is
just have
Kanye's
a
mental
"What's up with Kanye" segment.
about?
But
But
that day is not today.
yeah, no,
We are
absolutely not.
gonna resist Kanye content for as long as we can.
Well, what I would say then, another big single, and again, you're gonna hate me because I haven't listened to the first album, but so Sonic dropped a new single, Mr.
Absolutely, they did Love Train
Yes.
or Love Train or whatever.
Yeah.
But
What's your thoughts?
oh my god, dude, this was. I was almost like upset when I heard this because I think it might be better than anything on the album.
Really?
Like, and there are some quality songs on that album, but this is just like next level. I would say, give me a second. I'm trying to put this together in my head. It sounds, it sounds more 70s, like more throwback than the
Mm-hmm.
album. The album is like a 70-30 split between like the old school and like a new school kind of flavor. This feels like they're
Mm-hmm.
almost like doing it 100%. Like
I'd say they just
this
take it back.
this is a complete and total throwback. And it's incredible. It is just oh my lord.
This is on my must listens to. I have not listened to the original album. I'll have you know, I'm almost to it. As you know, I have an album queue. Every time an album comes out, I save it to my Spotify and I go in order because I'm stubborn. And right now, I'm at Summer Walker, then Amine, and then I'll have the Silk Sonic.
God, you're gonna need to get through this backlog, man. You have a hip hop podcast now.
I know, dude. I'm literally like months behind. When did you know what? We can cut this, so I'm just going to look this up. When did Summer Walker album drop?
I think it was like late October, early November.
November 5th. That's how far back my album queue is. Summer Walker dropped November 5th, and that is the next album that I have to listen to.
Wow. For shame.
I know.
But did you happen to listen to the single by your favorite
Whoa,
per,
whoa,
per,
whoa. See? See?
personal friend of the show, Future? Uh,
Here we go again. There's a narrative. Everyone wants me to be toxic.
Everyone wants you to be toxic. Personal friend of the show, Mr. Future. His song
Big
"Worst Day,"
vibes.
worst day.
Did you listen to it? I
I
should say
did.
that.
I did. I listened to everything on this list.
Okay. What are your thoughts on Future?
It was a Future song, man. They kind of all sound the same to me.
Okay, fair
Like,
enough. All right.
don't get me wrong. I think Future can be a very fun flavor among others, and he can make like highlights. Like there definitely have been Future songs that I really like, but just the Future sound is not something that I'm the biggest fan of.
That is completely fair. It's something that you kind of flow with or you don't. I've slowly grown to like him a little bit more. He's got some hidden gems. Um, that this song was fine. Fine.
Yeah,
I'll
like
leave it at
it
that.
was just a future song, right? Like
Yeah.
it was like if you programmed an AI to make a future song, it
This
would
is what
it
we're
would be
expecting.
this song, right? This is the future song.
Which isn't bad. Like I know it may sound like we're talking down on it,
Yeah,
but I swear we're not.
yeah. No, it's
I'm
just
not.
he has a very specific sound, you know. And I think all the best, most talented people do, even though I don't know if I would necessarily call Future the best, most talented person.
He's he's alright. Yeah, he's good.
He's
I
good.
would say I say his influence helps him.
Yeah,
I think his influence kind of carries him over that little hump.
yeah. And now we have for the second week in a row, 21 Savage on a song.
Tell you, man, this dude is everywhere. He's hungry, and I love it.
Yeah, dude.
Um, he's on the song Peru with some people that I've never heard of. I'm just gonna say that some
Yeah,
people I've never
yeah. I've
heard of.
never heard of these people either, but you know, song.
Bro,
If there was a surprise this week for me, it was this one.
I listened to it. I'm not gonna lie. I listened to 21 Savage's verse. It
Yeah,
was good. It was good. I feel like it's kind of a summer song, but we're not there yet, so it didn't fit the vibe of how I felt in the freezing cold Chicago. But it was
yeah.
still good.
It's definitely a summer song, but I like putting on songs about summer when I'm walking in the negative 12-degree cold on my way to the train.
I'm gonna move out here eventually. I keep saying it, and I don't do it. That's what I'm gonna do
I
it.
can't leave. My soul belongs here.
Yeah, no, the whole thing.
I will start to disintegrate if I'm outside the city limits for more than 2 weeks. It's a deal I made with a witch.
Where you going with this, bro?
I don't know. Just a bit.
Well,
Not
that's all.
that's not everything needs an ending, Purvis.
Sorry, business started coming
All
in.
right. See, okay,
Patience.
we hinted at it earlier, but this week was a Super Bowl. But we're not going to
Yes,
talk about the game because there are already too many sports podcasts.
this is 100% true.
Yeah.
Man, I don't really care.
Yeah, no. I mean, I care. I like football, but this is not what we're talking about. I will not even say
No,
the word Bengal after this.
I just want to say this once. Juice, Joe Shiesty is a great name. Great name. Personally, I think it's a great name or nickname, I should say. But that's about it. That's all I want to mention on the actual people.
Incredible. Incredible commentary, Purvis.
So,
All right, but I think
we can cut that
the halftime
out.
show did fall into the relevancy of this podcast.
100%. We
Yeah,
had a lot of legendary people show up
all legends,
for that
I'd say.
halftime show.
Yeah, all
Yes,
legends.
all legends. Um,
No John
we've
legends,
mentioned
ironically.
no John legends, correct? But we've actually mentioned two of the names already. We had Snoop Dogg as one of the main performers. We had Anderson Paak on the drums. I don't know if you noticed.
It
We
was
got
kind of
that.
like I love that because it was kind of like a little cameo. It was like a Marvel movie. It was just like a if you
Yes,
don't know who that is, he just seems like a really enthusiastic drummer.
yes,
Which was
yeah.
great on the internet, seeing people who didn't know who Anderson Paak was, and they're like, "Man, this drummer is really into it."
Little did you know.
Little did you know, sir.
Just as important as the other people we have up there. Which also we had Dr. Dre. I don't think he needs an introduction, but
No, no introduction for Dr. Dre.
yeah, Dr. Dre is
Does
infamous.
anyone in this need an introduction?
No, yeah, I was about to say we could just list it off. We have Eminem. Also, we have 50 Cent showed up. He wasn't on the list, but he was there. Mary J. Blige. Um, yeah, that was the five, right?
And Kendrick.
And Anderson Paak. And Kendrick. Wow. How did I not? Yeah, my bad. Obviously, Kendrick. You cannot forgive or forget him.
Yeah, you fucked up with that one.
They all had their own separate little section of the Super Bowl performance, and I think they all murdered it.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
the performance from each of those names was just extremely good. I'll be the first
yeah,
to say I'm usually first off, I don't usually give a shit about the halftime show. Like
yeah,
I say bring back marching bands. Like
interesting.
yeah, cuz like I don't care. I like football. Like not You know,
Right, you're in a
it's
football.
like why is there a concert in the middle of this football game? Seems to dilute the purpose and make both themes worse.
Wow, that's a take.
Yeah, I know.
Not against.
They're gonna come for me with pitchforks. But this one I think was really really good. This one I enjoyed quite a bit. I also tend to think it's probably a mistake when people put like 6 different acts on a Super Bowl, but they're usually not as cohesive. Like I remember
Right.
one time it was like, oh, it's Shakira and Travis Scott. Like it actually wasn't those two, but it was like, you know what I
Right.
mean though. It's like two people who have very different audiences.
Do not mix in music
They don't
wise.
mix. They don't have a common genre. They don't really have a theme. Whereas this time, it very much had a theme. It worked super well going from artist to artist.
So I'm not gonna lie, I spent a good amount of time actually not yelling, but one of my friends halfway through the performance was like, "This is not good," and I got so heated. I'm not even gonna lie, I got triggered just
Is
because,
it
like,
is it the friends I don't like?
I don't know which friend you don't like, but I don't think so. I don't think you've met this one.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you've maybe seen him in passing. He's been in basketball a couple times, but anyway, that's one of the homies. Yeah, halfway through the performance, he was like, "I don't like it," because I guess it wasn't like that much entertainment value for him. But anyway, I just felt like it was the first Super Bowl performance of all one genre. More specifically, it mattered to me because it was hip hop and rap. And I just feel like we've kind of discussed it before in basketball, but the mixture between music and sports is so cohesive and involved and so intertwined, it cannot be ignored. And the fact that the NFL has such a strong African American presence. It is so dope to see them give back to the community almost with an all rap group, and they're all legends, and they all killed their parts. Like it was really dope to see. It
Couldn't.
was for the culture.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. Like, and it really can't be overstated. Like how each person really gave their A game, you know, and it seems
Yeah.
easy to think like, oh, someone like 50 Cent might come out because people kind of phone this in sometimes.
Hmm.
And you would think like, you know, maybe someone like 50 or Eminem like isn't really going to give a shit, but no, they really,
No, they went
really
all
went
out.
hard with it. Like, do you have like a favorite segment or moment from it?
I have a few like moments. I won't say like breaking down a whole like 30-second part, but some things that stood out. Super dope. Eminem kneeled after his performance, even after the NFL told him not to. I just think that's so dope. It's such a powerful imagery for someone like him to kind of go against the power and kneel on behalf of like Black History Month and just you know
Yeah,
that's one thing that stand out or stood out to me.
yeah, that's
Um,
definitely cool.
yes. Besides that, I think Kendrick had the best performance, even though it looked like he was working in a 10 by 10 foot square.
Yeah, yeah, it looked like they were like, all right, Kendrick, you get 10 by 10 feet. Don't You don't get any elaborate things. You don't get an elevator. You don't get to hang upside down.
Yeah,
Do the
which
kung
50
fu
did.
shit. That's what you like. That I listened to Damn. That was your last album that came out 5 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, no one's waiting for you or anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, but he came out, did his thing in his 10 by 10 foot square. He came out in a Louis Vuitton. Well, not Louis Vuitton. Is it Louis Vuitton? Who did?
I have no
Oh my
idea. I'm
God.
not good at clothes stuff.
No, no, no. Well, the clothes part does matter, but the person that just passed to me the off whites, I feel so stupid. Wow. I'm gonna have to cut this. What is his name? Virgil.
Oh, Virgil. Oh shit.
Yes.
Yeah, even I know Virgil.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm so sorry. Yeah. He came out with a unfinished or something like that full suit made by Virgil. I thought that's so dope to honor him after his passing away,
Yeah.
RIP. How better to have a representation in the next Super Bowl than Kendrick walk out in your suit? Super dope. Super dope.
Super dope.
And it is Louis Vuitton. So those are two things, or a couple of things that I listed that stood out to me at the show. How about you?
I think my favorite moment was Eminem, not Eminem, Kendrick doing the first few bars of "Lose Yourself" to feed into Eminem. I thought that was just
Mhm.
like a really dope transition. Like that's how you really like hype up the artist and make sure there's no energy lost from like
Yeah.
act to act. And I was just like, fuck, man, that's so powerful. And like personally, like I see Kendrick as having his own legacy in hip hop that's at this point as valid and as legendary as Eminem. But it is
Hmm.
cool to see a younger dude like show reverence to someone who clearly influenced him.
Yeah.
Uh, Another thing I thought was really cool was how there was very much like a lineage there. Like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Eminem and 50 Cent, they all came from the same like line. Like they're all Dre cosigns.
Hmm.
Even Kendrick to a certain degree like worked with Dre a lot, and that's how he kind of like came up a little bit. So
Yeah.
I thought like
Didn't
having
literally.
like don't get me wrong,
Oh,
I think there's definitely like a version of this that isn't so cohesive that still works just as well. But I thought that was really cool that they were just like, we're gonna capture this specific moment in hip hop, and they did it just so fucking well. And
yeah,
also
they
Mary
really
J.
did.
Blige, like who doesn't love Mary J. Blige?
Yeah, she is also another legend, and not to have her go overlooked or anything like that, because I know we haven't mentioned her, but she also did a fantastic part. And I feel like you said, all these people were already kind of working throughout history. It's kind of like like you said, a lineage type of thing, and I feel she plays a good part in that as well, where they all was representing LA and LA, where LA won.
Yeah,
You can't beat that.
no, you can't. It was a big moment for the city, and I hear that it's still on fire. But yeah,
Well,
no,
I've seen worse things happen in LA.
oh yeah, no, definitely worse things have happened in LA. Yeah, I think this was a above average Super Bowl halftime show. I was really happy with it. Everyone that I watched the game with, like, all loved it.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, there were maybe two or three people that I instantly was like, "I'm defending this. I don't care." That I kind of talked to, and I was like, "No, you're wrong. This is why it's good." But besides that, pretty much everyone was like, "This is just dope to see." Just a significant meaning behind it. It's so dope to see.
100%, man. I couldn't agree more.
But yeah, that was the Super Bowl.
That was the Super
Little
Bowl.
timestamp of where we're at in history.
All right. Now, tomorrow, bringing it back to
Yeah,
the madman himself, Mr. West,
the
tomorrow we
inevitable.
actually get the long awaited premiere of the first part of the Genius trilogy on Netflix.
You're the TV show guy. You can start. What do you
So,
think?
yeah, definitely. Like, okay, it's kind of weird because I don't know a whole lot about this documentary except for the fact that I know it's in three parts. I know it
I didn't even know
was,
that.
yeah, no, it's like a trilogy.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know when the next two come out, but it was made independently without Kanye, and then he gave approval to the final cut. So I think that
Really?
definitely, yeah, that's definitely something. He threw a big
Okay.
fit about how he wasn't going to allow the film to be released if he didn't have
Yeah.
approval from Netflix or like give his approval on it. And when shortly after he was given a producer credit. So most people just take that to mean like, oh, he's definitely going like he definitely approved it.
Yeah.
So
And that's interesting to think about. I did not know that, if I'm being honest. I just have many questions now, as I'm not really too involved with the film as it is, but I don't understand how they got the footage, how it was approved, all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to see where they go. Netflix is,
I
I
know it
won't
was
say
recorded
dominating.
over
Go ahead.
like a very long time.
Right. It kind of gave off a vibe of The Last Dance, where like there's old recordings from a decade ago that people just kept. So,
Man, documentaries are just never gonna live down the Last Dance comparisons.
oh, that's no, yeah. I mean, it was fun. It was amazing. It was really, really good.
I remember
Um,
early quarantine, that show just had a vice grip on
on
every
everything.
single
Yeah,
person in
yeah.
my life.
I had never actually. I can't remember a time where I actually would like be ready for a TV show to come out. Anytime I've seen a TV show, I streamed a TV show, it was mostly after it ended and I would just binge it. No, this like I was sitting in my kitchen by myself, 2 feet in front of my TV, awaiting the episode and screaming downstairs while my parents are watching it downstairs. My dad reminiscing on random memories that I was too young to even understand.
Dude, just incredible, incredible documentary filmmaking. That was the thing that really captivated me about The Last Dance. It's just like, it wasn't just that it captured a moment that people are obviously very passionate about, you know, that last championship run for the Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan. But it did it so effectively. And it's because they had all that footage that I don't remember the exact circumstances behind how they got all that footage from the 90s. But apparently
Right.
they had it. So it was
Hey,
great.
they did their thing, and with all that being said, Netflix is pretty dependable. I feel like they're dominating. They
I
have
agree.
many good shows out,
I
and
agree. I think
I trust
Netflix,
them.
as someone who is definitely watches a fair share of shows on streaming, I would say Netflix is the most consistent. I don't think they
Yeah,
get the highs of like HBO. HBO is like, it's got
Game of
everything,
Thrones,
man.
and
The Sopranos, my guy. It's the
yeah, it is a long list.
HBO Max is like the Sopranos app in my house.
Are you Italian?
Okay, leave me alone. Don't don't
I'm
be
sitting here with my fucking hand up,
don't
like,
berate my culture. Like,
oh man.
all
Okay,
right,
fair enough.
sticking right here with the Kanye topic, dude. The dude's been crazy.
As of this morning, he is no longer Instagram posting in caps. He said
Nope.
that he
I
didn't
think
realize it
about
feared
3 hours
people.
ago he changed his mind on that.
Oh, I'm not even gonna go look. I'm not even gonna go look. Not.
But I think the part that we want to focus in on, because we want to try and fail, but we want to try to stay focused on the music,
Mm-hmm.
is the falling out with Kid Cudi, because it
We're not
was
getting Kids See Ghost too.
yeah, it was less than 7 days ago when we were like, oh, could we see Kids See Ghost 2 this year? Could that happen? Will we
Yeah,
see that? And then 3 days later, Kid Cudi and Kanye West hate each other, and it's like, oh,
right. And posted about
okay.
it.
And like I get it. Like, egos come across. No one likes an ultimatum when it comes to friendship. That is definitely toxic. Definitely a part that people don't seem to be talking about. Kanye is a mentally ill man, and he
Oh, for sure.
appears to be having an episode. Maybe
One
we
of
should
many.
stop guffawing and help the guy.
Yeah, we'll see how it happens. I don't.
And this is gonna be a hard thing to explain correctly. But on one hand, it's like, do you think Kim's like involved behind the scenes? Like, this seems kind of staged, right?
So what I'll add to this conversation is something I literally just saw on Twitter before we hopped on. There are two packs of groups when it comes to this whole situation. There is one pack that is going, Kanye's a genius. This is perfect promotion for the Netflix series coming out and his album coming out. This is all a stunt. It's all made up. Illuminati something, and like that's one pack where like it's all planned, which is something you just mentioned. You feel like it's all planned. The other pack is looking at it on a more serious note. Is like this is stalkerish
Yeah, no,
and abusive,
that's the other thing, is that
and
like
yeah,
I almost feel bad. I feel bad for thinking it's planned, even though it reeks of something that was planned to me.
oh for sure
Yeah,
because they
but
will
I
plan it.
feel, but yeah, because like, and I say this as a compliment. I genuinely believe this. There's no one more media savvy than the Kardashians. They play the
Oh
media
yeah,
like a fucking fiddle. It's a talent, and no one's better than them.
yeah, it's a little scary. You
Yeah,
are 100% correct. So
yeah,
I can see that now. I see why you're
yeah.
actually
But
doing
at the same time, like, if it's not, I feel awful for Kim. Like, I genuinely do.
Yes, the like I said, the main part of the second pack is like this is good. This can serve as an eye opener to people who don't understand the things that women go through on a day to day basis. Because could you imagine not having the financial support, the publicity, the like security, literal physical security guards that you can hire that can hire? Like a girl goes through this like on a daily basis,
Yeah.
and like
No,
really
like,
men
this is,
and
yeah,
don't
this
have
is
support.
this is dangerous. Like, this is not appropriate. This is, and for a minute, I was like, one of the reasons it felt staged to me was seeing Kanye posting screenshots of Kim's text, because that's something you can
Literally saying,
very,
"Can you not
yeah,
post?"
yeah, yeah, definitely. But the part that was stuck out was like, oh, you could make a legal movement and get those taken down. So as long as they were up and as long as they kept going up without the last one coming down, part of me was like, this feels a little sus. And then he deleted everything, and now I'm like, oh, Kim's being abused, probably.
Yeah, it's getting to that point where like this is not
Yeah, and
it's not an act.
it's like a really, because I don't know, I've never been in that situation, and it's something I want to be conscious of and make sure I'm
Right.
not being like an asshole to someone just because I like Kanye West. But it just reeks of manufactured until it doesn't.
I literally just opened up Instagram just because I got a notification, and the first thing I see is a Kanye post of Kim, and the caption just all caps.
Yep,
Yeah.
time's a flat circle, and boy, is it even extra true when we talk about Kanye West.
Yes.
You gotta hand it to the guy. He's captivating.
It is provocative, as they say.
All
Gets the
right.
people going.
It,
But
what song is that, Purvis? I can't say it.
I'm- that's funny. Okay, that was actually funny because I didn't know where you were going with that, and props to you. I'll let it slide.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you. I'm hoping to be casually funny on this podcast. That's one of the goals I hope to accomplish.
it'll come up naturally.
Say,
I'm sitting here trying to find a way to transition, I guess, into our deep dive. That's all the news.
yeah, that's really all we got. Like, I mean, all we got. We've been here for 40 minutes, but like,
We've been here for 40 minutes
yeah,
talking about
yeah,
random stupid stuff.
yeah, we're at the 40-minute mark. I would also like preseason. Let's avoid in future reference. Let's avoid calling out like the exact like number time on air, because like when you edit it, it's like they're
It
saying
doesn't
40
make
minutes. It's at 38, and it
What if you cut out?
just sounds like we're doing things incorrectly.
No, we're just gonna say we had it. Don't worry about it.
But it's the preseason. Who cares? Leave it on the field.
Right.
But
Just transition into
yeah,
the
let's
deep
just
dive. Last
transition.
week,
Okay,
um,
Purvis picked our topic
yeah,
this week. So go into it, Purvis.
okay, for sure, for sure. Last week, as we finished, we kind of talked about after recording. What do we want to discuss next? There's a lot of big topics that we can dive into.
We got a Google Doc with
Um,
about 15
Pretty good
things.
amount. Yeah.
Yeah. We got a good amount of topics that we want to dive into, but Purvis came in with this one, and I
Yeah.
gotta say, I think it was a good one.
So yeah, this week we're gonna be kind of diving into Dreamville, um, into J. Cole, into more specifically the album Revenge of the Dreamers 3.
Yeah, their most
Um,
recent. Would you call it a collab album? Would you call it like a label album? Like,
and,
what would be the kind? What would you call these groups of albums?
in terms of the Revenge of Dreamers, well, this is what I will say. I had to do some extensive research before actually picking this topic, and I will say this. So obviously, this is the third one that came out. It's Revenge of the Dreamers 3. I did some research. Revenge of the Dreamers 1 came out in 2014. I would say that's a label album. If anything, it's a J. Cole album. It has J. Cole. This was years ago, so there's not that many people on it. There are some people that are like featured that are on the label, such as Boz and Omen. But it's so long ago. It's such an early development of Dreamville.
And
Um,
Dreamville's a record label started by J. Cole.
that was
Just to
strong into
be,
that.
yeah, just like to be as one-on-one as possible. That's just
Right.
like what we're talking about here. We're talking about a record label started by one Jermaine Cole.
How long have we been having the Jermaine Cole bit?
Gentlemen,
Jermaine Cole?
we
The villain's back, the real is back? Like,
Yo,
If you don't know,
yo, Jermaine, J. Cole, the guy on the power
right?
trip. Yeah, me and Purvis will just do this back and forth for hours. Just
We for no reason, honestly. We were just bored at work, and it just worked. And I feel like starting off, you need to know who J Cole is.
Jermaine.
Jermaine Cole. The real is back. The Ville is back. No, I'm not even gonna do it. So yeah, I guess we should back up before I go into Revenge of the Dreamers and Dreamville. J Cole.
Let's
How'd you
do a
find J
very,
Cole?
very high level J. Cole
Yes.
backstory.
How'd you find J Cole?
Me, I listened to. I first heard J. Cole, his song "About to Blow Up" from like I think the fuck was that the Friday Night Lights mixtape. It was the summer of 2010. It was right after I graduated high school, and I remember listening to it. And the first reaction I had was, and I don't remember the exact song. I'm not too well versed on early J. Cole, but
Mm-hmm.
the thing that stood out was the bar was "I'm about to blow up," and I just remember being like, "Oh, that's really honest." Because like most rappers would be like, "I'm the shit, I'm number one, I'm now," and he's like, "No, I'm about to be though. Like, look at me, look how good I am. I'm about to be that." Like,
And he proved it.
oh,
And so
100%. It's been
yeah,
insane. Like, I
I personally I put J Cole up there, and he's my top five, no question. In terms of just like history and hip hop, I will put him probably top 10, top 15. He has such a strong influence. I feel like the four people you talk about nowadays is Kendrick, Kanye, Drake, and J Cole. Um, I first found J Cole. I think the first song I really listened to was "Workout" on the Sideline Story.
oh yeah,
Um, great song and album. J. Cole's just great. I'm not even going to sit here and be like, oh, great this, great that.
yeah.
No, it's J. Cole. We already know this.
I think
Proud of him.
I know something we want to explore with this podcast, like going forward, is sometimes having these deep dives, like our main topic, being like really thorough deep dives into artists.
Right.
And I want to refrain from going so deep into J. Cole himself because I can't think of a better one to do that for than him.
Yeah, it is so much to this
We
guy.
have
It's
so,
amazing.
yeah, like there's
As of
so
today,
much
like
to
literally,
say. There's so much to say about J. Cole. But I
I
think
think,
what we need to know for the purposes of discussing Dreamville circa Dreamers 3
right.
is he is one of the best in the game right now. Been doing it for a long time, and the two of us love him very much. And
Yes. And
Jermaine, if you're listening to this, how? Who gave you this? I'm sorry. And two,
literally in his interview for Nara, who told you this?
yeah, like who gave this to you? I don't want you listening to this. This isn't for you. But if you are,
Right.
come talk to us. We love you. Like,
And again, in regards to the deep dive that we're doing today for this album, the important part that you need to know about J. Cole is that he is extremely humble and he is for the people and for the culture. Just as of today, I think I sent you five different things to social media of him just giving back to the culture. And that alone puts him on a pedestal, in my opinion. I've sent you a video of there's a infamous basketball player right now in college who has one arm, but he's amazing. He can break my ankles, and I'm not even ashamed to say he's really good. J. Cole put a whole advertising video to promote him. Like that alone just shows like how humble, how giving back J. Cole is, and all that ties into what Revenge of the Dreamers 3 is as an album.
yeah,
So
that's interesting.
right, jumping back to kind of the deep dive. Um, Dreamville is like you said, a label record created by J. Cole. We have some names on there such as Jid, I've mentioned last week, Boss, Omen, Ari Lennox, uh, Kaz. It's a lot of different people on there that are really, really talented. And I feel like Dreamville is the ideal label company right now. And I kind of hinted at it earlier when I was saying maybe Death Row can make a return as Snoop Dogg is the owner now. And I feel like he should follow the format of Dreamville because they are a family. They all rely on each other, and you can see it. It's different saying it, but when you can feel the energy, it's there.
Now that I think about it, for so long, if you ask me like, oh, like what is like the top record label right now, I would have said Top Dog. But now that I really think about it, yeah, like, especially going back and revisiting this album, it was crazy. And yeah, the amount of talent like on this album is very wide, and there's a lot of different sounds.
A lot of different sounds, and so
And that's the thing I
breaking
really
down
like about it. I
right.
would say that to me, that's the thing that separates Dreamville from other record labels right now is a very specific sound
Yes, and
or
him being
ethos
that
even.
stand-up guy, being able to bring that family feel, you have again this pocket in space. I mentioned that last week. You have this time length where you get something like Revenge of the Dreamers. So to break down this album, this is the first time that anything like this has ever been done, and if you are interested in this type of topic, I would recommend it has a documentary out with the actual album. It's a quick 30-minute documentary that kind of breaks down what the album stands for and the energy around it. But J. Cole and his partner, Abraham, both of them are the executive owners of Dreamville. They sent out invitations to the industry. Multiple different. I remember when it first came out on like Instagram and Twitter. I was like, "What is going on?" I started losing it because you see all these big names are tweeting their invitation with no words. It's just it's a picture of the word revenge and it has their name in it. And so J. Cole sent out these invitations to the industry, and whoever was interested, they were all to come to the studio that J. Cole has been working with since his younger days. And they were given 10 days to make music. And that's the simplest way to break it down. And it created this atmosphere, this competitive drive, this family feel, this like hustling, like I need to be the best kind of feel where you get this amazing track list of music with so many people on it.
Yeah,
It's never been done before.
it's certainly not on this scale. I'm sure some person has done like a project in 10 days, but it's not. It's 10 Day by Chance the Rapper, calling back to last week, which is just, this is like huge. This feels like, coming from the world of movies and comic books, which is like where I cut my teeth on like media shit.
hmm
This feels like a big Marvel movie because everyone is there.
It's literally, yeah.
It's
That's the
it's a
that's the best way to put it.
yeah, it's a huge crossover, which is all these really talented. And the thing that's crazy about it is you have like this huge roster of Dreamville artists, and then they have
Yes.
features on top of it, right?
So
Like,
with that being said, do you want me to go down the list? I took the time out and I wrote some of the biggest names of that song.
sure,
Like I won't even. I have two lists. I have producers and I have artists, but I'll just say the artists. If you're interested, it has some big name producers. You will recognize at least 10.
yeah.
But in
Send
terms
me,
of artists,
tell me some of both.
yes, some of the artists you have the baby at the time that was really big. You have Ti. Everyone knows who Ti is.
Yeah,
Young Nudie, Buddy, Reason, Maxio Kim, Ski Mask, the Slump God. Um, some people say it differently. I say Black. Some people say Six Flag. I don't know.
yeah.
You have Vince Staples. You have Ty Dollar Sign. You have Dreezy. You have Smino, Saba, Guap Dad 4000. Like the list is so long, and those are just the features. This isn't even the Dreamville artists themselves.
Yeah.
And even when I watched the documentary, you have big name producers. Mike Wilmade was there. Swizz Beats was there.
You know
Who's the
who's a
white dude
name?
that streams on Twitch now?
He's in the
Kenny B
doc.
was there.
There's one of my favorite artists was in the doc, shouted out by name, and then not anywhere to be seen in the album.
Who was that?
That would be One Big Crit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew you were gonna bring him up. I knew you were gonna bring him up.
Yeah,
I rewatched the
because like
documentary. I was like, I know he's gonna freak out about Big Crit.
yeah. Because full disclosure, when he was talking about his Mount Rushmore, my Mount Rushmore has three faces on it. It's Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Big Crit. And it's kind of crazy because like I didn't even notice he wasn't on the album until I got through it. I'll say this, like it's a big album, and like
It is.
the longer we talked about it last week. Statistically speaking, the longer an album is, the more some of it is just gonna like plateau out. So even
Yep.
though I think the album as a whole is like really really quality, it does become like background noise except for like the real big highlights like Swivel and Oh Wow, Wells Fargo, Self
Yeah.
Love, Costa Rica, 1993, probably my favorite song
So
on.
all of the songs, like,
Well, you
it's
say
just like,
that, but like I've literally only named half. Like
yeah, that is true. And there's also an extended version that's even more
I
ridiculous
did not
that they
listen to
put
the
out after.
extended person. I have stuff to do.
I understand.
Yeah,
Don't
but
blame me.
we did have my favorite part is we get two of my favorite local boys on here: Smino twice
Hmm.
and Saba on the closing track.
Who both did fantastic.
Absolutely. And that's the other thing. Everyone who just came in and killed it. Like everyone was on point for this.
Oh, 100%. And that was the energy that I was kind of mentioned before. That the fact that you're working on a 10-day span, it pushes you. It pushes your limits as an artist and it tests your capabilities. And that's where you get, like they said, pressure makes diamonds. So if you're working with 10 days, it's easy to show up and you see all these big names and you just think like, wow, I never thought I'd work with these people. You have community people, like local people, working with Ti. Like you never think that would happen. That's a dream. So you got to come with your A game. You post up the way it was set up. The studio has multiple different like rooms that you can record in, and so random producers would go to a room, drop their beats. Random artists would come in, start writing a verse, and like in the moment, they're like, "Hey, I got something." Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. And I feel like that creates the atmosphere for something beautiful that happened.
Yeah, no, and that's because think about it. How many tracks did they have to have left off the album?
It is ridiculous. I'm looking now. The actual album has 18. The extended version
Is
is,
bonkers,
yeah, it's 30 in total.
insane. I'll get to that. I'll probably listen to the rest of it this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You'll get
because
to it.
yeah, I saw a lot of Saba and Smino, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good.
And that's exactly what we're looking at with this project. I feel like it's such an important thing to notice because I feel like I hope that it happens in the future. I hope other labels do something similar. The closest thing, and I was thinking about this, the closest thing we had to this was Cruel Summer with good music.
Yeah,
They
mm.
had a ton of futures, but it was all internal artists. I feel like,
Yeah, definitely.
um,
I feel like the combination of the huge roster and the features is what
right,
makes this. Because if you're gonna, if you want to just like draw a direct comparison, and like maybe direct is the wrong word because you kind of have to squint, but it has a very similar energy to me as like the Saturation trilogy.
ooh, yeah,
Just like that feeling of like it's like a box and there's just so much creative energy coming out of it that like it's hard to contain.
and
You know?
it's so fast and so much.
Yeah,
That's a great comparison because Saturation, you literally it's 3 albums and it's all
yeah,
hit with
yeah.
all different vibes.
That's how I feel about this. So, like it feels very much like a Dreamville Saturation album. But that's the thing though is that Brockhampton has like a very specific ethos, but I feel like Dreamville themselves has one. So what? How would you describe like to you? What is it that makes Dreamville Dreamville? Like what is
Um,
exciting about this
well,
label to you?
as you know, I actually like I heavily listen to all of the artists here, and I feel like when you're looking at labels, it's easy to pay attention to the big person or like maybe the second or third person, but this roster goes very deep,
Yeah,
and I actually heavily follow and listen to all of them as they all create a really good vibe that I like, and they all stand for the same morals. I feel like the most important part of Dreamville, they have that family value. Well, they lean on each other, they depend on each other. We went to go see, you and I, we went to go see J. Cole in our city, in Chicago at the Bulls Stadium at the United Center, and you can see like even the people on stage, like the energy that he gives off from J. Cole trickles down to the entire group, and it's a very loving family vibe.
He's a
You see, they
very
like to have fun.
he's a very authentic dude.
Yes,
Yeah.
very authentic.
I mean,
And sorry, go ahead.
if I had to put a name on it, like for the vibe that I think Dreamville has, is community and this idea of like almost like creative mutual exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it really I mean, you really are hitting the nail on the head here.
I just I can't speak highly enough on them. And as you said, because they're just stand up people, it really creates that atmosphere. No one could have really done something like Revenge of the Dreamers except for J. Cole, because this might come off as a joke, but because the song Middle Child, it's true. He's literally the branch between the older generation and the newer generation. And he's helped guide so many people kind of come up off of that, and work their way through the game, even though some of them have fell off like Little Pump, and he warned them he'll
Yeah.
fall off. Other people have kind of listened to his words of advice and has been successful.
So who are your favorite non J Cole members of Dreamville? Because to be honest, my first reaction was, oh, there's a lot of people here who I recognize that I didn't know were associated with Dreamville. Specifically, Ari Lennox.
Yes.
She's probably
Ari
the
Lennox
person I've
is
listened to the most besides J. Cole.
okay. And,
Yeah.
and to be honest, that's a great second pick, I would say.
Yeah.
Second in command. And that's another thing. That's the dope part about Dreamville. Obviously, J. Cole is first. Like there's no denying that. But after you reach second place, everyone's at the same level and they all respect each other. Even though some of them may not be as big publicity wise or influence wise or even just, financially, they all put themselves on a plateau where they all respect each other. Personally, I feel like Jid I would put as my second favorite. His flow is just astonishing. And I kind of mentioned it last week with the music video that he put out, but he was something special. And again, I don't want to disrespect him and be like, oh, he's the next like J. Cole. He'll take J. Cole's spot after him. But no, he's the first Jit, and that's what matters. So I would put Jit next, and then probably Boz or Ari Lennox. They're two really big names that I've ever put.
I feel like I got to give Jid his due. I really haven't heard much by the guy.
Now, I'm gonna put you on. I got you.
Yeah. The as far as features go, the people who I've known on this album were, Smino, Saba, Smoke Perp, Vince Staples.
Right.
But the only other artist I really kind of knew from Dreamville was Earth Gang.
Yeah.
And
both of them are really good.
yeah, they're a talent. Like I would definitely, I definitely think they're a subject for an episode themselves.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna make our way around.
Yeah,
no question.
yeah.
And I guess I should ask then. Besides Dreamville, then who stood out as a feature for you?
Who stood out as a feature? Probably
Right.
Smoke Perp.
Who was one of the better features? Okay.
Probably Smoke Perp. Yeah. He just every song he's on, and like Smoke Perp, I was going to do a deep dive into Smoke Perp and just like listen to nothing but him for a couple weeks. But I've kind of been trickling into it. But man, every time he just like steps on a track, like he's something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and,
had
like,
a big Smoke Perp vibe or phase when his first album dropped.
yeah,
And that's that. I listened to it a lot.
and I know it's kind of interesting because he came up with like XXX and like a lot of the people from the South Florida scene, but he's definitely a lot more lyrical than those guys, at least from the shit I've heard so far.
Yeah, I think he's done a really good job for himself. It's a good balance between that young trappy vibe,
Yeah,
but also being able to give a nice little verse here or there.
yeah.
I wanted to ask. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was actually going to ask because I know we've discussed this separately, so I figured why not ask you on the podcast. Have you gotten into ski mask yet?
Oh, no, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah,
Still working on it.
yeah. I'm still working on Ski Mask. I'm gonna be honest with you. Everything I just said about Smoke Perp, I meant about Ski Mask.
I knew it.
God damn it!
I knew it. I'm not joking. That's what I was like. I'm gonna ask him. I knew you meant that.
Yeah, I meant ski mask. God damn.
And
Look,
I'm not
guys,
gonna lie, I still had a smoke pork face. I still stand behind that. But
yeah,
no, ski mask. I knew that's what
that's
you
what I
meant.
meant.
So I was like, yeah.
I meant ski mask. God damn. Jesus, you got me. You got me.
I knew
That's
it.
content. That's what podcasting's about, baby.
I knew it. I knew it. But I still stand behind everything you said.
Yeah, no, everything
I
I
like
just
both of
said,
those people.
everything you just said, there is a 40% chance that I go through and I record this phrase ski mask and cover it up and delete this part.
It's funny,
I'm joking. I'm
like
not
to
gonna
me
delete this. This is
because
hilarious.
it's funny because everything you said it still stands for Smokework.
Yeah.
Smokework came up with XXX and like Little Pump and all of them that came off with SoundCloud. He has decent trap bars, but a couple of verses here and there. So you weren't wrong.
No, the Smoke Perp feature did stand out to me.
Right.
Now that I
But
think
yeah,
about it,
Ski
yeah.
Mask.
Ski Mask. Ski Mask was the one that I meant. God damn it.
Cannot wait till you deep dive into him. So you won't.
I've been listening to more and more of his stuff. I've been like wading into it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You got to kind of ease into it. I'm not mad.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. I am but a little baby when it comes to SoundCloud rap.
you like you said, you were part of the YouTube gang.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I'm trying to.
I can't believe that happened.
Laughing.
All right.
Back
we're back.
I don't even know how much we cut there. We probably didn't cut that much.
We went off. We went off on a very meta tangent that you guys don't want to hear about. But
you fucked up a name.
Yeah, I fucked up a name and everything got derailed. But that's fine. I don't care.
I guess kind of wrapping everything back up as we are getting into the later half of the podcast. One thing I wanted to discuss, because we've kind of talked about the album already. We've talked about the premium. Yeah. What does it mean? Why can J. Cole be the only one to do this? Yada, yada, yada. I want to hear your opinion on the documentary. We have
I fucking love the documentary, dude. I like the documentary more than the album.
Okay. I kind of think you would, but let's hear it.
No, and don't get me wrong, I like the album. Like, the album is great. It was a lot of fun to go back and revisit it. Because I listened to it when it dropped, but the only song that, like, really stuck around for me was Middle Child, which is incredible. But the documentary, like, man, as a professional creative, I hate saying that, but something I just love watching is watching other people's creative process and seeing, like, how it makes, like, how, fucking 1993 went from an idea to a song,
bro.
And just the visuals of just like.
Well, for people who haven't seen the documentary, explain why you like 19.
Okay, so the documentary is about 30 minutes. It's very.
Or 1993, sorry.
Yeah, so the documentary is about 30 minutes long. It's very like in the studio, like ground level, not very. There's no like cutting to like a talking head. It's all like what's happening there in the studio. And it puts you right in that place of like, oh, they have 10 days to make an album, and you see these artists like go through the process. I was going to say struggle, but like there doesn't seem to be struggling. Like if I had to make like a movie in 10 days, I would be chain smoking cigarettes, and I don't smoke.
Right.
So just watching that, there's I was reading this book about writing biopics, and there was a chapter about music biopics, and they had like, in the middle-ish of the movie, you gotta just give the people what they want and give them 20 to 30 minutes of just the joy of creation. And like a movie I think does this really well, keeping in our scope, is Straight Outta Compton. You seen it?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. You remember like the 20, 30 minutes of them making Straight Outta Compton? You see them in the studio. You see like that like the pure joy that creating can bring to you.
Yep.
I feel like that is the pitch for this documentary. Like if you just want to see like the joy of creation, like why people will do what they do. Like why people, despite how hard it is to make it as a musician, despite how hard it is to make it as someone who makes something for a living like that. Like why
any kind of content creator, why do they go through the things that they do? How they choose to be what they want to be growing up? Because It's a lot of fear going into a content creator. It's a lot of uncertainty. Historically,
It
it's
is not
difficult
a
just getting in the
reliable way
industry.
of working,
Right.
you know? And
And
rap is probably one of the dicier ones.
yeah,
I
I would
mean,
agree with that.
how many people have fallen off, in the time Dreamville has been around?
About to say falling off in the past like 5 years.
Yeah, insane.
But yeah, I think it does. That's a great way to take a look into it, comparing that to like the Phil and the straight outta Compton. I think the documentary is a great add-on to the album. It's its own entity in its own right, and it's an amazing documentary. You don't have to listen to the album to watch the documentary and enjoy it, but I feel like it does. It gives a visual representation of the energy that was in the studio. It's something that if you're not a part of music, or you may not even make it to a studio, it's something you may not experience, and it gives a nice little window to
Yeah.
a different type of world.
Yeah, and
And yeah,
the thing that's always interesting about documentaries is that they feel very real and they look very real, but they're
yes,
definitely like created. And I think this one does like that pulls off that magic trick really, really well. Because J. Cole directed it, and like at one point, like it feels like so real that
you're
you're a
there.
fly on the wall in that
Yep.
studio during those 10 days. You see like the early versions of songs. You see like where that stuff comes from. My
Mm-hmm.
favorite part is just like watching the other talent react to
Dude, that is literally
like the
yes.
early versions of songs, like the
Yes.
1993 scene where like you see J. Cole like jaw dropped when he hears the chorus for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes
It,
back.
I was gonna say literally that scene, like in the documentary, you can see the scene. Like it's a bunch of people in a room, just like looking at each other, like kind of confused, and you just hear noise in the background. And there's this door, and there's like four people surrounding a mic, just screaming. And it's like, what are they screaming about? This sounds amazing. Like, what are they doing? And then one of them just comes out the room and just like, we were recording that whole thing. That's a song. And like that's insane to me. Like the like power behind like literally just walking around the room like, hey, we just made a song like off the bat,
Dude,
and it's a banger.
it's it really puts you there, and it got you to see like what the culture at Dreamville is really like. Because
Hmm.
like there's a reason why there wasn't a Donda documentary. It's because it would turn people off, you know.
Hmm. Yep.
Like,
Yep.
and that's the thing I liked about this. And I think J. Cole, he does these like little documentaries for every release he does. And
Yes. He has more than
something I've always noticed is you see him putting his name in the director credits and things more and more and more. So if this is the part of the podcast where Brandon can put out a baseless conspiracy theory on the future, I think he's gonna move into directing sometime.
I'm here for it. I'm here
Yeah,
for it. I'm not
like
against it at all.
I think it's a matter of time until we get a feature length documentary or maybe even like a feature film from J. Cole.
I am in full support. The
You know,
man does music, does
he
producing.
directed the Kevin
Time to
Hart's
direct.
video, which is a
Amazing.
one of my favorite videos of the last few years.
Kevin Hart's literally in it.
Yeah,
Influence.
yeah,
That's it.
but yeah, no, and that's the thing I liked about the documentary was just like the intimate fly on the wall like feeling of being there while they're making that album.
I guess for you, because you're more involved on video making and things like that. Can you speak on the difficulty of doing something like this and getting everyone together? They had individual interviews. They had like posted up cameras everywhere.
I
It's
mean,
set up
yeah,
a very specific way.
absolutely, and like it making something like this is it's difficult. It's difficult because like you have to have the community that you would have at some place like a Dreamville studio. The thing is like these are hard because they're impossible to manufacture. Whereas if you're making a narrative movie, if J. Cole was making a music video, he sets up lights, he does takes until everything is right. But this
Hmm.
you can't fake.
No,
All you can do is sculpt and amplify. And don't get me wrong, as authentic as this feels, and I believe it feels very authentic, I think it is authentic. It was definitely created, edited to get us to this point where we're like talking about the energy of it. Like it was made to get those feelings, and it bounces between like someone talking directly into the camera and cutting between the music and doing the needle drops and shit. Like it does that all very, very specifically to get that effect. And directing can be very obvious when you're watching like a Quentin Tarantino movie, and like you see like this incredible action set piece, or you're watching like a Martin Scorsese movie and there's this great oneer, or you're watching Denzel in something and you see this incredible performance. It's all very showy, right? With documentaries, you have to hide the scenes.
Yeah.
And
you got to pick out the right scenes and make it work.
But so on one end, like it probably isn't super duper hard because J. Cole has done the work creating that environment that making this documentary isn't going to be super hard. Does that make sense?
I think so, yeah. I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, like if the Dreamville situation wasn't what it was, it would have been impossible to do this. I think there's some really good filmmaking in it, but ultimately, like the thing that stands out is just like how you can't fake this, you can't manufacture it. All you can do is sculpt and amplify, and I think he did a great job of that.
And I agree 100%. That's why I asked you, because you're more of my like visual kind of nerd. You know more about video and kind of the camera equipment behind it and the process behind it.
Yeah, it's a production thing.
Right. With all that being said, and I didn't bring this up to you before the podcast or before we actually just decided to discuss this. Have you seen any of the music videos they made for the songs?
Just Middle Child.
Okay, because there's Sleep Deprived, there's Sacrifices, there's Under the Sun, and there's Down Bad. Those are 4 actual music videos that they came out with, along with the actual songs. And I was just curious if you've seen any of them, if you have any comments on that, comparing that to the documentary or not.
No, I wouldn't. Unfortunately, that's something I missed. I wish I would have looked into that, but but no. All I can say is that I've seen the Middle Child video my fair share of times, and I've seen J. Cole's videos a bunch of times, and I just know that he's very, he has a very auteur feeling to him. Watching a J. Cole music video to me feels almost like going to see like a very specific indie film director, like someone who like I would say names, but I don't know like if it would mean anything. Like someone like a Paul Thomas Anderson or David Fincher. They're not indie guys, but like those like auteur, like people who have like a specific look to them. J. Cole has like that very specific vibe in his music, but he also has that behind the camera. And there's like very specific tricks he does a lot of like those flashy Hollywood moves. And it's just a completely different game, which is why it's so interesting seeing him do both. So I think on a video level, J. Cole is definitely an artist I'm extremely interested in.
Yeah, and I'm hoping there's more future stuff coming out, both styles, the music videos and the documentaries.
I really hope he does not stop doing the documentaries. It is just such a good insight into just like, and like a primer for the projects, because he did another one for the Fall Off.
And that one was also amazing,
incredible. They're very short though. The Fall Off one was only 15
I think
minutes.
it works.
Yeah, it definitely works.
What they're doing, it works.
You never want anything to be like too long. That's the last thing you want people to think when they finish a movie or film or whatever, that it was too long.
Well, that being said, I feel like we've been going on for too long.
Wow. Very smooth transition. But
that
was our deep dive into Revenge of the Dreamers 3 and the accompanying documentary.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend.
Please check it out.
They make a great double feature. Like, it's 2 hours of your night. Watch the documentary immediately after. Jump right in. Listen to the album.
Yeah.
And I would say go in that direction.
Yeah. You will not regret it. I think it's something that kind of it's a special moment in music history, and I feel like that's going to be a lot of the things that we cover on this podcast. Little pockets of time in history that you can focus on that kind of builds up the culture in the
100.
industry. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's what culture is made of. Culture is made out of hundreds and thousands of little moments built on the last.
yep. And so, man, we're really coming up with something, huh?
Yeah,
Getting somewhere.
yeah. All right, so me and Purvis really
Music.
liked what we did last week, where we
Yeah,
recommended some music at the end. Just kind of
yes,
stuff
sir.
we've been listening to, nothing like super pointed, just stuff that's been in our headphones.
Mm-hmm. You want to
So
go first?
I'll do one, you do one. How about that?
That works for me.
Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is I was talking to a friend of mine about how I got into Kanye because I saw him on the Chappelle Show.
Okay.
And the Chappelle Show was just like a cultural epicenter, like when I was a child, like when it was on the air. Like if you didn't watch the Chappelle Show, like who were you? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I started thinking about other artists I got introduced to via the Chappelle Show, and I went back to Anthony Hamilton, and I've been listening a lot to that song "Coming from Where I'm From."
Okay.
Old school, not old school, like early 2000s, late 90s, soul, R&B ish kind of music. Just touches the soul. And like I walk home through a graveyard at night in Chicago, so it just hits the vibe. Like,
Fair enough.
yeah.
I'm looking it up now, actually.
If you,
I'm gonna have to dive
I'm
into this
shocked.
myself.
I am absolutely flabbergasted that you do not know exactly who I'm talking about. Like,
I'm going to literally fast forward to the middle of the video and play 5 seconds. So, huh. I'm ashamed of myself that I didn't recognize it off of 5 seconds. Okay. Check back next week. I'll have a little something to talk about.
okay, okay, sick. That's
Um,
give me one.
okay. You might like this one, as I know you're a fan of this gentleman. It just happened to come up on Shuffle earlier this weekend. But Vince Staples' "Jump Off the Roof" is an absolute banger.
Ooh,
Um, I I can't really discuss too much about how good it is, in my opinion. If you don't know who Vince Staples is, where have you been? He is not that low key, in my opinion. You should definitely check him out. The song "Jump Off the Roof" has a fantastic vibe to it. It is pretty upbeat, and they'll make you want to rub it back.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
So that
that's
was my
another
first one.
artist this year. I gotta really get around to because like I've heard his like singles and like all the songs
Yeah,
everyone knows, but like I have to go through and listen to like the albums in order with
highly,
Vince. Yeah.
highly recommend this song, no question. And it features Snow Allegra. If you know who that is, props to you. You,
Wow.
you really have some good music taste. If you know who that is.
All right. All right. So
All right,
my
what's your
next
second?
one is from it's gonna be the one that annoys you.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's from an artist I am evangelical for. Different one from last week, but same
If you
letter.
say, no, just go. I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm not
I'm
even
gonna
gonna say
say the
anything. Just
song
go.
"Flowers" by Belly.
I I almost punched my desk. I knew you were gonna say Belly.
Dude, Belly's the most slept on guy in the game right now.
I feel like as a counter, I need to put a Knob song. That's
No, do not say a Knob song. Knob is banned from the podcast.
it is hilarious how we have literally two people in the same label. They're basically the same person. And we both love one of them and don't like the other one.
I
It's
think
the
no,
opposite.
you like Belly way more than I like Nav.
That's fair, but you unrightfully don't like that.
No, that's not
There's no
true. Nav is
reason to.
bad.
He is good.
Oh my god, listen to a Nav song. He's not good.
Bro, I'm telling you, no, we're not going
No,
to do this right
we're not gonna get into the great Nav debate. When we get
Great.
when we have 1,000 people consistently listening to the podcast, we'll do the great Nav debate. Like that will be.
Well, we'll take a vote.
We'll do
We'll
like,
take a
dude.
vote
We
on
could even get a
something we want to see.
moderator. We could do like a whole thing. Like
Look,
we'll have the great Nav debate. But yeah, no.
when
Let me pitch my song. let me pitch my song to the listeners.
Go,
Like,
just go, just go.
so Belly, Canadian artist, rapper, been in the game a real long time. His first leg of his career is not my favorite, not very good. But after he signed with Rockefeller and then with XO, he put out a series of mixtapes, which I'll count. All led into him releasing 2 albums, both of which were released at very unfortunate times. His last one being released right in between the Donda and Certified Lover Boy, so didn't get a lot of attention. But this is like the lead single from that song. The chorus is an earworm, and it's one of those songs where it's like it's so short that you just immediately go back and listen to it again. And it just, it was one of my favorite songs of last year, one of my favorite projects of last year. It popped up on my shuffle, and now I can't stop listening to it. It has taken over my life.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. I understand.
Yeah.
I guess I can go on my second song then. I'm going to change my second song because of the disrespect that we just gave Nav. I will now be doing a Nav song.
Do not recommend a Nav song.
I'm going to recommend Nav.
I will edit this out.
I am going to recommend Nav, the single on the self-titled Nav mixtape by Nav. Just since you don't like Nav, I'm just going to put Nav. Nav, the song, and Nav, the mixtape, and Nav, the artist.
I'm just going to let it happen.
That is my recommendation.
I'm just going to let it happen.
Just the counterpart.
All right.
It's a good song and a good artist. What's your third song?
All right, my third song. And it's actually really interesting how I got to this artist and how this artist like entered my brain and was like, oh, I'm going to listen to them now. And now I'm just listening to them. And the song is Funny Thing by Thundercat.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I was binge watching the newest Star Wars show, Book of Boba Fett. And Thundercat is in the show.
Really?
He's an actor playing a character in the show, and not like a small character. Like spoiler alert for Book of Boba Fett, but like that's weird. I can't believe we're doing that. But like he's the character in like the post-credit scene. Like he's the character meant to tease out like the rest of the universe. And it's like, shit, I didn't know Thundercat was an actor, and here he is in Star Wars.
Hey, that's if you made it to Star Wars, you made it in.
Yeah, you made it. So, like, I was like, oh, shit, I love Thundercat. So I was just listening to them. Funny Thing is just, like, it's one of those songs that reminds me of summer. It's just, like, it's one of those songs that when you listen to it, it just sounds like such an effortlessly fun song. But then, like, when you really listen to it, you realize how, like, virtualistically incredible Thundercat is, like, at making music.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. I'm literally listening to it right now. There's a lot that goes into this song. There's a lot of sounds, a lot of effort.
Yeah.
This is not an effortless song, but
yeah,
it comes off that.
But you can see like why, I first heard this song in a bar, and it's like, yeah, yeah. So you can see like, you listen to this in a bar, it's just like, oh, this is fun, and then you realize like, oh, this is one of the greatest musicians of my generation.
Yeah, yep. And he will be slept on. Unfortunately, he will be one of those people that will be swept under the rug most likely.
Yeah, he'll get his due. He'll get his due one day.
I hope so.
Yeah. All right, Purvis.
Closing out the podcast.
This was a second episode. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Because like the first time it's like a lark, but this time it's like now it's a podcast. Now it's a series. People's phones have updated and there's a new one.
I guess that's true.
Wow, crazy.
I'm actually curious. I'm gonna open up the app and see what he plays with the guy.
Oh, I would caution against that habit, my friends.
Oh, I'm not going to.
Yeah. But yeah, so socials in the description. Reach out. Oh, we also, this week, we somehow got ourselves an email address, one of those new-fashioned email addresses. I don't know if it's going to be relevant for very long. The internet's a fad. But should we put it in the description? If you want to reach out, feel free.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to put that in the description.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead while I think about it.
Yeah, we're going to put it's the unpaidnobodies@gmail.com or something like that. And it'll be in the description. And everyone can send exactly one email And, just telling us like what you
Oh,
think. If our editing sucks, if you have an album you want us to discuss,
like this. I didn't
yeah,
think about
that's going to be something. Once people start using that, we'll start reading stuff from the email on the show. But that has to happen first.
With that being said, obviously I'm going to do this after the podcast before it comes out. But expect to see a Twitter and an Instagram because we should definitely capture those names while we
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that. Yeah, well,
can.
this is preseason. Like, it's fine. Like,
Yes.
all right. So we don't have an outro yet. That's going to be something we work on probably before next episode. But also, like, we're a music podcast who doesn't listen to music before we start talking. So,
Yeah.
so it might be 2 or 3, but we're going to be working on that. But until then, we're just going to kind of end.
We need some closeout music. We need
No,
some lo-fi. Low key, we need some lo-fi. We
disagree.
need some